the mission to keep as many men on as many guns for as long as possible. We called him Doc. Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. And now your host, Aaron Chief Seaberg.
How's it going? Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. This is a place where I really get to kind of talk about my military experience, those things that kind of affect us afterwards, post-traumatic growth, transition, problems, situations, and things that exist. And our combat vets get to come on here and tell their stories, their struggles, their chaoses, their situations. This is mostly spoken on behalf of the PTSD Foundation of America, Warrior Built Foundation, myself and my experiences within those, because I do a lot with those. However, I utilize and operate amongst so many other really awesome nonprofits and those that are about to exist. And today I have Recon Chief on deck again, Mike DeLeon, good buddy of mine, and we're spending a lot of time together trying to continue to help and support the veteran community in a huge way. I think this is going to open up a lot of really awesome avenues, and we're going to talk about the adventure of Recon Chief and the ventures that are going to occur for this, and some of these and some of the visions that are going to go on with it. So, Recon Chief, hey, Mike DeLeon, how you doing, brother?
Morning.
Chief retired.
Reveille.
Reveille, man. If you're Reveille, hey, if you're sleeping in and you get Reveille is now, you might be retired. Yeah. Hey, Mike, let's talk about it, man. Give a scope what Recon Chief is all about, kind of, your experience a little bit. Just highlight you for a second before you start off with that.
All right. As most people know, I'm Recon Chief. That's what they call me on board. My name is Mike DeLeon, 22-year retired veteran, U.S. Navy. And I've served pretty much on both coasts and overseas consecutively, and have experienced quite a lot. And everything from, active duties, military personnel committing suicide, post-war trauma, military sexual assault, and just and any of the different, traumas that come out of being in the military and trying to transition back into the civilian sector. So with that being said, I basically retired, went to school, and started my nonprofit, Recon Chief Inc., which I've been working pretty hard on for the past 3 years, building my team, building my network, and instilling the belonging back into our military veterans.
Nice. And hey, you got a lot of stuff under your belt in the film community too. I mean, let's talk a bit about the veteran film community, and then we'll get back into Recon Chief and some stuff. But that's another really awesome part of what you're trying to do, because obviously film and video and obviously social media is such a huge impact to getting the word out there.
Yeah. In the film community, within the last 5 years, I've been pretty heavily involved with production, hiring veterans, location scouting, and talent scouting as well. So, it's hard for like Hollywood production companies to gain access to, real hardcore military, the bases, the setting, and things like that. So when I was, part of a film set back in 2019, I met a bunch of veterans from an organization called Veterans in Media and Entertainment. To make a long story short, I ended up becoming a producer for an assistant producer for veteran-powered films. If you know what Vet TV is, this, they do all the dark stuff, and veteran powered films does all like the real deal, like heart to heart kind of, movies and documentaries. And what they do is they hire and cast veterans all over the nation. They put them behind the camera. They put them as an actor or actress or background positions, and help with production and catering and food and everything you see that incorporates producing a film. They would hire strictly veterans, and that was an awesome deal. And that brings a lot of veterans together. The mission is to put them back into a environment that they're used to, where they feel like they belong, and they're also building camaraderie around other veterans, stories and whatnot. And so recently, I've been involved with filming with a man named Chris Ariano down here in San Diego. He recently filmed a movie called The Master Chief, and he reached out to me to help with producing and creating a storyline for Master Chief Part 2. So that begins soon here down in San Diego. We'll be filming possibly on the base and the surrounding areas of San Diego. So that's real fun. And at the same time, I'm juggling another film set for a film called Homestead, which with veteran powered films. So we're kind of like
A lot of pokers in the fire per se. A lot of great things. And this is because you like to be saturated in the veteran community, and this is why Recon Chief is also a huge extension to that. And let's talk a little bit about why Recon Chief is going to be a game changer. I feel like it's going to be a pretty awesome thing in the veteran community as well as the nonprofit organization, because it's going to pull the ability for a lot of nonprofit organizations in the San Diego area. And when you talk about, the mass amount of retired situations, veteran situations, and military personnel, San Diego is a pretty robust place for for that. San Diego County, into all the way up into Camp Pendleton with the Marine Corps, one of the largest bases that they've got. So we talk about that community is super huge. Recon Chief's going to try to pull a lot of things together in one. The purpose of it is to acquire a building that's going to be super awesome to allow not only the veteran nonprofits, but to also the businesses that are veteran owned to come together and kind of collaborate with some very, very awesome deals for our veterans,
yeah.
support, and a whole bunch of things. And not just our veterans. Let's talk about the first responders and the families too. I mean, it's going to be a huge deal.
Yeah. Try to keep it a little unlengthy. So our initiative really is to acquire a large size building, commercial building, and our plan is to embed as many veteran owned businesses, whether you are for profit or nonprofit. You can come down as far as Riverside, Orange County area and embed your business into this building. The purpose of it really is to collaborate and push the collaboration between every style of nonprofit, because every veteran nonprofit organization has a different mission. I mean, the mission essentially is the same, but the programs they offer and the academics of what they want to and how they want to teach the veteran or educate them in different ways could be a little different. So you have racing, you have hiking, you have pickleball, you have movie making, you have singing and arts and things like that, and even other organizations where they actually still kind of mingle with the military and do things like core building, transition, exit courses for the military for different branches. So every nonprofit has a different aspect of how they help the veterans and their families transition back into the civilian sector. With Recon Chief, we actually have three different programs, not just racing. We do have a off-road program and a overnight camping program, which we utilize some land out in the desert in Joshua Tree that we can bring the veterans out there. And the ones that are allowed to have guns, we can bring the guns and bows and arrows and camp and tent and bonfire and kumbaya. And it's a really relaxing camaraderie building experience. And so it's all about that experience, bringing the experience back to them, making them feel comfortable around it. And just it's all education, it's all vocational, it's all recreational therapy, as a lot of missions are. For the most part, it's all about the education, the advocacy, and sponsorship, really.
Yeah, when you think about it, there's a lot of nonprofits doing a lot of things, and some of them are doing some of the similar things. And there's a lot of businesses out there doing some incredible things. But to have your name on their business as a sponsor or supporter, or have their name on yours, as well as maybe your competitor. It may not. And when you think about competitiveness, that's always a really touchy subject, because a lot of guys feel like, hey, my money's going to be pulled from this or that, and I don't want to share my contacts with this and that, and that's fine. But if you collaborate and you come together, I don't know where all the resources are, even as a guy that connects combat vets to resources, and if I don't know that resource, then I don't know it. If I don't know a place to go, and you can go to the internet, you can look it up, but I want to have that personal touch. I want to be able to talk to somebody, collaborate every day, and be like, hey, do you know somebody that, even as a nonprofit guy, that my life evolves around combat vets. I look forward to having, in this building, there might be some office spaces that are available to some people. There's going to be desks right next to multiple different nonprofits. So you're going to be able to have that direct communication immediately,
Yep.
as well as the reality world. I mean, the virtual world through Verbella.com. We do a lot on that, Mike. So when you think about this concept, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's really kind of cool. And even if you're not at your desk, if you have a flyer that's sitting on your desk, or something that's actually right there, that kind of describes what this organization does, and you can actually see it, gain some information from it, and then carry on. I mean, I think that's going to be a huge deal. And then for the veteran to be able to come into a place where they need help, or they just want the support or the camaraderie, because not everybody needs help, not everybody needs support. They just want the camaraderie. Hey man, let me find an organization that's doing the camaraderie. I mean, this is going to be kind of like a one-stop shop, but full of a lot of different interactions.
Oh yeah.
The possibilities are endless. So it's pretty cool, Mike.
So yeah, just touching back on what you were just mentioning. Just imagine walking into this huge building, and the first thing, like, it's like walking into like a restaurant, and you look up at the screen, and you're like, what do I want? I want a milkshake, double cheeseburger, and a cup of coffee.
And a salad. Let's not forget the salad, man.
Salad.
We all need something healthy.
And it's kind of like military friendly. You just go in and you just kind of like look, and you're like, what do I want to explore today? Okay, on the third floor they have all the racing simulators. I want to go racing with the vet. Or I need help with my taxes. Where's the Vita office? Oh, floor 2, office 33. Okay, I gotta go do. And so those things will be like readily and always available at this building. Like, we're just gonna bring everyone together. It's like the veteran central hub for like all of California, or Southern California. And it would just be a great idea for people to like leave the base, because most of the recreation centers on base, it's like, some people are in uniform, some people are not, and you're just kind of like 50-50 comfortable. But if you knew you had a place to go to where you can literally just go and open up everything, and even if you had to like spit your business about your PTSD or whatever, you can do that, because everyone is going to listen this time, because people normally in the military listen to their veterans. We know the language, we know what's coming out, and that's what helps build that camaraderie, and that keep that brotherhood there in the blood, thick skin and all that.
Good stuff, Mike. Hey, I'm going to come back to the simulator piece after our break. We're going to just take a quick break to go to this, because I know you mentioned a race simulator, and in your mind you might be thinking, oh, I can go to a video game and play this simulator. But I kind of want to talk to you about what your plans are with these simulators, and the simulators that are actually coming in that space. You won't believe it, and it's super amazing. So hey, we're going to take a quick PSA from the VA, and we'll come back. Appreciate you.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
Hey, we're back with Michael DeLeon from Recon Chief, and we talked a lot about this great collaboration he wants to put together to build in one building, kind of bring in a lot of nonprofits where they can operate out of and really have some functionality to help support other nonprofits and their veterans, first responders, and their families. What Mike's got on deck. Hey, Mike, feel free to talk about this. And the reason why I want him to talk about it is because I was kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. You don't always know someone's scope or their capabilities or their outreach. And Mike's got a link to a lot of different people, a lot of different things that are in the works. And he spends all day long putting these things together. So, Mike, talk a little bit about the simulator and why it's such an awesome piece of gear.
Take a look here real closely. I don't know if you can see on screen, but that's basically a simulator, and it basically it's like you're sitting in a real car. And these simulators are able to transition from car to truck, motorcycle, and even a couple of them will be able to transition to flight, which is actually FAA approved for training pilots. So these simulators allow you to, not just learn how to race, but to compete in esports or compete in real life. Because some of these simulators have real life movement, real life reaction times, and the actual seat, the steering wheel. If you can see, the steering wheel is a very, very sophisticated race steering wheel that you would normally see like on F1 cars and NASCARs. I mean, these things are like super high tech, top notch machines. And actually, I'm getting ready to make a site visit tomorrow, actually, to the facility in Northern California that actually houses about 10 of these simulators, owned by the Royal Navy, a commander from the Royal Navy. So he's the one that's allowing this to happen in NorCal. There's nothing like this down here in Southern California. So we want to be the first ones, and we want to do it with the veterans. And on top of that, if we have any challenged veterans, I'm kind of collaborating with the Challenged Athlete Challenged Athlete Foundation down here in San Diego, where we're going to actually take a couple of the amputees, and when they bring their truck down here to San Diego to do an event with us, we'll have the amputees from the CAF Foundation test out some of these simulators so they can modify them to be used by leg or arm amputees and challenge and race and compete as well. So this is going to be an awesome deal. Veterans, most bases has a esports facility. It might be a little small in some bases, but where veterans can go and do gaming and all that. But then again, you're on base, and so this allows them 24-hour access to get into this facility and go to town and race cars and do things that they want. But this is strictly like cars. Like I said, every nonprofit has their own little niche, and ours is surrounding the racing industry.
Yeah, and that's a really big thing. I mean, obviously, with Warrior Built being an off-road race industry and kind of adventure for our combat vets, it gives a chance. If somebody that doesn't understand maybe the principles of everything, gives them a chance to get into a simulator that's actually going to simulate the off-road ability as well as on-road. And like you said, the training. If you want to be a pilot, it's going to give you a chance to kind of touch that. I mean, that's a pretty incredible piece. And that's just one aspect. I mean, that's just a cool aspect of things. But let's talk about, Mike, let's talk about the veteran experience. The type of veteran that needs to come into this facility is going to be one that's going to be wanting to get help and support. You're not just going to be able to come in there and utilize some of this equipment. You're going to have to be vetted out, your DD-214, this and that, to ensure that you're a good candidate for some of these programs. And some of these programs are going to be designed for you because you're homeless and you need help. But are you ready to not be homeless? Are you ready to really move forward and not be on drugs, alcohol, and dependent on all these different substances? Because the PTSD Foundation is all about that. It's all about helping our combat vets get out of that stage and we might have to send you to Texas and get that 6 to 9 months, but we're going to have groups inside this building. We're going to have the ability to run these groups. And there's going to be a lot of hybrid capability and virtual capability, all these capabilities on top of whatever organization brings in other capabilities. That's what it's going to be. And it's going to be what you as an individual, as you as a veteran, make it, because it has to be about you. But at the same time, we have to be responsible and say, hey, is this a good fit for you? You know, if you're coming in there and you're drunk and it's no use putting you on a simulator because you need to get to a point where you don't have to be in that stage. And that's a hard piece. The substance abuse, the substance issues, the PTSD, the mental stuff. And there's going to be a lot of mental help and support in this facility too.
Oh, yes, quite a bit. All right, good. Just recently, within a week and a half ago, I actually made a in-person site visit at the PTSD Foundation of America down in Camp Hope, Texas.
That's right. You did go to Texas, to Houston, to Camp Hope and visit it. That's
for 2 years I've been talking and preaching PTSD Foundation, and hanging out with the Warrior Build and doing the combat vet vision with Aaron. And until I actually made that site visit, that was not just the closure I needed, but it was also like a validation of what's really happening. Because not everybody can touch everybody that needs help. And I've only been able to touch the ones that are here locally around me and in my life. But go into a facility where there's 100 that all are there seeking help and talking with them individually, that put a pretty big picture in my head about what's really going on. And until you see that and feel that, it's really hard to accept the fact that, there's a bunch of people lining up to come to Recon G that want to get help. And the vetting process, that got to happen. So, like you said, the DD-214, I think of DD as like due diligence, right? You got to go and you got to do that vetting, even though it might hurt their feelings. But hey, you want to make sure that when you start off on the right foot in an honest way, and they're real and truthful. And they, the vetting process also incorporates an interview possibly where you can, how much help do you need? What kind of help do you want? And I'm not gonna, like you said, I'm not gonna put somebody right into a, race car and start building race cars if they're, doing crack cocaine on the side. That's not gonna happen, because that's gonna endanger everyone's life, including themselves. Put that guy on the racetrack, we're gonna be in big trouble. So we have to protect everyone and each other and ourselves and our company. Yeah,
definitely. And Mike, I'm glad you make all these points. I mean, there's obviously a lot that's going to go into this, and you've been working this for years now, and it's been in the works. So it's going to be amazing. It's still paving the pathway. It's a great dream, and it's something that you're pushing for. There are a lot of guys that I run into that want to start something, that do things, but after a while you just believe in them because they're actually doing it, and you're actually doing it. So much appreciation, much gratitude to you. Feel free to throw out any last thoughts on this, how people can get a hold of you, why they would want to get a hold of you and stuff like that. Feel free to put out any other information, brother.
You can check me out on any social media, especially LinkedIn, Recon Chief Inc. INC. Right, on all social media platforms. You can reach out. My number's there, and it's wide open. What was I gonna say? Oh, the fact that there's a way to start a nonprofit, and people reach out and they want to do things for the veterans, but they don't know how to get started. I'm pretty well versed in actually initiating a nonprofit 501c3 with the IRS, the paperwork, how you get about going there. So if you just want to learn how to do it, you can reach out to me too. If you want to help it with the veterans and you're coming out transitioning from military, you don't know what to do yet, I can help you launch another nonprofit. That's one more added to my list of collaborative companies, right? But like I said, I don't have a like a non-disclosure for my business. If you want to copycat me, more power to you, more power for us, right? Because we strengthen numbers is what I believe in, and I don't believe in hiding what I built after it's already been built. Like if you want to copy me and do it again on the East Coast, let's go. That's 1,000 more veterans that I can't reach at this time because I'm not in Florida, or I'm not in Norfolk or New York. I'm only here on the West Coast, so it's that much easier for us.
Well, good stuff, Mike. I appreciate your time and your effort to come on here and actually, go over this with me. It's been something that I've been excited about as we talk and we go through it. And I'm part of your team that's doing this together, and love being it. So, hey, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple other things after we get off with Mike. But hey, it's really great to have Mike on deck. This is something that I have been working on as well. I mean, I do a lot of things with the PTSD Foundation, Warrior Built Foundation, Recon Chief, and a whole bunch of other things. But I've also been involved with some studies on veterans, and these are veteran-centric studies that have helped kind of get the word out on what veterans' needs are, and hopefully in a way that educates the public and gives the veterans some source of connection to that. And in doing so, I've recently just posted, actually this morning, on that on PCORI, and PCORI is Patient-Centric Outcome Research Institute, veteran-centric stuff that really helps out. They put some stuff out on PTSD that I wanted to get the word out on, and how that can be involved, some questions that are being out there. How those get answered is up to you. But if you have some desire to participate in this with me, reach out to me, hit me up, take a look at the information I put out, and kind of collaborate in that. And I want to say, thanks for PCORI. They've done a number of studies. This is the third one that I've had the opportunity to participate in. And I feel like it's a platform where veterans are heard and they get to kind of express a lot of their sensitivities and issues. And it almost turns into a PTSD group where civilian nurses and doctors are allowed to watch this go down, because the questions they ask are very intrusive and personal sometimes, that create an environment where it's time to express yourself the way that you need to. And for them to listen to that and kind of divulge a idea about what is necessary, what's needed for our veteran community, and how that might look and want to be. I think that's finally coming to be a possibility and a way of doing things. Because I want to say, we as veterans, we find different avenues of support, different things that work for us. Not always is it at the doctor. Not always is, sometimes it's that one-on-one communication. Sometimes it's that it might be medication. But medication sometimes can have so many other side effects and so many other problems that lead down pathways. But sometimes that medication is necessary and it works and it needs to. And sometimes it's that one-on-one. Sometimes it's groups. Sometimes it's this podcast. You don't know what it is. Sometimes it's just having that great conversation with your dad, or your parents, or your brother and sister, whatever that might look like. But we got to be good to ourselves. We got to treat ourselves well. We might need a new pair of shoes just to keep our back from hurting. There's so many cool, small little things that you don't always need. And how do we articulate that, or how do we get that across? Just by collaborating with one another and kind of coming up with solutions so that the systems that exist can exist for us, but we still need to live our lives in the most best way that we probably can. So, yeah, I'm just putting that out. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening to my podcast. This is Aaron Siebert, retired Navy Chief. Lucky to be alive after being hit with mortar around April of 2006. Signing off. Strength and honor.
Under blue skies, the only way, like the sun bidding good.